Welcome to matLine. It's April 24th, 2008, and I'm Matt Brookline, here to take you through the history and the news. We're gonna be a little rushed and slow because I've got a lot to tell you. So we'll get started. In 1184 BC, so that's way back when, a good 3,000 years plus, is the day that they believe. Not official. There's no way to know for sure. I mean, obviously, since some historians don't even believe it actually happened, the Trojan horse was dropped off by the Greeks into Troy. So, it's pretty exciting. I think that's a really cool bit of history. I think the whole story is fascinating, and I personally believe that it happened. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you about it, would I? Then we skip forward a good 2,800 years to 1704. In Boston, Massachusetts, the New Letter, it's called the New Letter, was the first regularly published newspaper. It's published first today. Those kids in Boston, they always got to do everything first. Can't stand them. 1800, the Library of Congress was started by a $5,000, John Adams set aside $5,000 to buy books that Congress needed. And that's where it started, and now it's the largest library in the world. Has way more than $5,000 worth of stuff in it. Then we skip forward to 1907, and if you're from Pennsylvania, you would know it started today. In Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the delicious Hershey bars are made, they opened Hershey Park, which is, it started as just a theme park for employees, but it's much bigger now, and it's for everybody. But it's amazing, and Hershey is the best chocolate ever, I think, personally. I mean, I love Godiva and I love Ghirardelli, but I mean, really, Hershey, you know how to do it. And then there was the whole thing with 3 Mile Island, but you guys still make delicious chocolate even though it's contaminated with toxins and nuclear radiation. In 1970, Dongfang Hong, the first, was launched, which is the first satellite ever launched by the Chinese. They were in 1970. I don't know exactly which year ours was. I can't remember. But or the Russians. But anyway, in 1990, also in space news, and this is kind of a funny story that my geology teacher told me about a good while ago, was the Hubble telescope was launched. If you know anything about the Hubble, you might know that it was when they first sent it up, all the images were coming back blurry, and the reason is because this is a science teacher's dream come true, is to have this as the example, but because they made for the curvature of the lens, the measurements were written in metric, but the person that made them thought they were written in standard units, or whatever we use here in great America, using our ridiculous measurement system. So they got mixed up, and the part of the numbers were wrong, and so it wouldn't work, so they had to send up a corrective lens to fix it. In 1990, Grunard Island in Scotland was officially announced free of anthrax after 48 years of being contaminated. So that's great news, especially with everything. I mean, anthrax, and I think until recently, whenever we had the whole scare with everything in the mail, I don't think anthrax really was as big a deal as it is now. And then 1991, Freddie Stowers was awarded the Medal of Honor. The interesting thing about that, which is going to tie into some things that we're about to talk about in the news, is that he was recommended for it in 1918. So, finally getting caught up on some paperwork, I guess. In 2007, this is a just funny little thing I just found out, that Iceland officially gave its peacetime defenses to Norway. So Norway is in charge of Iceland when it's nice outside. There's no wars going on. Norway, go ahead and take care of us. I think that's funny. Then birthdays, we got Cedric Kyles, who is slightly better known as Cedric the Entertainer, the comedian. Carlos Beltran, if you like baseball, you may know who he is. And Kelly Clarkson, the American Idol S, the first one, the probably most successful one, who may only be passed by Carrie Underwood. We'll see, who knows. Down to some newsy news. This is one that I think will actually be history, is that the veterans from World War II from the Philippines, the Filipino veterans, and the American that fought for America, are finally getting the money that they and benefits that they earned, because Congress at the time said no, don't give it to them, but now they're finally getting it, which is, I think, pretty wonderful. In Washington D.C., the churches there have started something to fight gas prices, and they're praying at the pump. So that's just great. I'm sure that'll help a lot. And then a little funny bit, Wesley Snipes has been arrested and sentenced to 3 years for failure to pay taxes from 1991 to 2001. Now, you may be saying, what movies did he release in those years? Well, it depends. If it's for the 1991, like he would have been turning it in 91, so that would have been 98, then that would have been U.S. Marshals, Down in the Delta, and Blade, and Future Spot. But if it's just from 91 to 2001, then he only had Disappearing Acts and Arts of War. So I think that depends a lot on which would. I'm not exactly sure all the details, but they're saying that he owes $41 million. His lawyers say that he only owed $270,000. Anyway, whatever happens, he just paid $5. I mean, remember that. So it's $41 million minus 5 if you're going to get technical. Anyway, just in another little bit, I watched this movie, The Secret, and it was amazing. It gave me a new perspective on things. And I was talking to some people, and they're like, oh, what if it's just coincidences? Well, what if it is? What if it's not? What have I got to lose? So anyway, if you're looking for a movie to watch to kind of like put you in a good mood and something to, a new outlook on things, I recommend The Secret. Anyway, so that's the history, that's the news. I'm Matt Brookline, this is matLine. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget to put the dead meat in the freezer and put on your Sunday best, because it's Arbor Day, baby.